Welcome back to another episode of Herd Mentality. Today, I'm your host, like always, not just today, all days. I am Aaron Rickenberg. I am joined today by Corey and Jake. We'll run through a little introduction from each of them, and then we will get kicking off talking about our topic.
Hey, I'm Corey. I'm one of the coaches here, coach the functional fitness classes as well as some personal training, and obviously I've been a member of the gym for three plus years now, I believe.
I'm Jake. I help program for our powerlifting track as well as coaching our teens class and the occasional functional fitness class here as well. I've been with the gym for about a year and a half, but Aaron and I go back all the way to when I was an undergrad here at K-State, 5-6 years ago now?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a minute. Well, today what brings us here is we want to talk about the gym. And we want to talk about just specifics because a lot of times it seems like we might be, since we don't do primarily advertising or things like that, and in the classes that you guys have come up to you, sometimes people don't quite understand the process for joining the gym. So I was just kind of curious what you guys have seen, what the process is joining this gym compared to joining other gyms, since we're a little bit different. So anybody want to jump on that one?
The big thing for us, anybody can walk in off the street, kind of get an opportunity to jump in with our classes. We do that kind of either 1 week or 1 month free, depending on the time of year. And so come in, get our waivers signed, and get people into the system just for their safety and ours. And typically from that point on, we're able to work with them, whether it be if they just want to come in here and train on their own, if we're looking to get people into the class setting itself. Say there's been a handful of Saturday classes I've coached where people it's literally their first, second day in the gym, and we're able to keep them going, get them rolling, and find a good way to get them training immediately, even if it's not necessarily to the same intensity or the same movements as everyone else around them, just based on skill level and figuring it out from there.
Yeah, Aaron, most of the members I've seen have been coming in have been somebody that they know that has been in the gym. So easy things that they can do. First month free. We've been running all through January. We also do the first week free. So that makes it really easy for people to jump in right away, get a taste of what the community feels like, which obviously for all of us is really important, as well as the workouts and the coaches, and get a good feel for it. And I think a week, even specifically this month, is a really good time frame for you to get a handle and understanding of what the classes are like. And so I think the entry point's pretty easy for most people. It's the showing up that's the hardest part.
And then is that like when they're joining the gym, that week free, do they get access to the gym? Do they get access to classes? Like, I guess, how does that whole specific work? So say like I'm somebody who's brand new. I just walk in the door and you're the coach that I come up to the class at, and I've never done anything before. I don't know the difference between a dumbbell and a barbell. Like, how would you bring that information to me?
Yeah, the first thing we would address is what your goals are. Well, I mean, why did you walk in the door in the first place, right? Somebody has a motivation of why they're in here. So I think that's really important to direct them in the right manner. We have many members that have never been in a gym before, never stepped foot in a gym, never picked up anything, as well as seasoned athletes. So that entry point, depending on what your goals are, gives us an opportunity to guide you towards. I think the class is a great place to start for everybody. In our functional fitness classes, I look at as a centerpiece or a foundational piece to your whole fitness journey in general, or your health journey. It's going to be the hub that's going to set you up to do whatever you want to do in life when it comes to your fitness or your health. So that's always an amazing place to start. And I've seen so many of our athletes that start there. We have the opportunity to scale any way that we absolutely have to. Scale for us means being able to edit the workout specific to where you're at today, tailor it to where you're at. So can be a little bit of anxiety towards some of the workouts, but you don't have to worry about being somebody that has to necessarily do those things, right? We can kind of tailor that specifically to you and where you're at and make that accommodating so you're not in over your head the first day.
I think, the ability for us to scale is definitely a big thing for sure. Especially if it's a totally new person. If it's a person who's never, like I said, barbell and dumbbell, has no idea, So I break it down like, we're doing squats today. They're going for these percentages and doing this for you. We're just going to do some sets of squats. We're just going to figure out like how you move, get this kind of work, like just figure out where you're at skill level wise, base strength level wise, and make sure everything's locked in and feeling good. And as far as the anxiety point goes, I think it's one of those really interesting kind of just double-edged swords, because for me, if I was someone who was totally new off the street coming into any sort of class, maybe not at a gym per se, but if it's one-on-one personal training, my anxiety might be even higher because I'm getting all the focus from somebody. But with I think the community here really attests to, when you join in, like it's fun. We have really sociable members. All of the coaches are very sociable as well. And so it's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's like, no, you're part of the group. Don't worry. Just like, you have this herd mentality. We're going to move on forward. And for you today, we're breaking it down to the easiest components. They're doing bar muscle ups and toes to bar. We're going to work on some pull-ups, maybe some dips for you, some core work. Keep it simple, but get you a taste of what you can do, what is to be expected kind of if you stick with it after that first week when you're with us. So
you said you were talking about classes, right? And you said personal training.
Well, he just highlighted the anxiety of being a new person coming in, and to me, the classes would diminish some of that anxiety because it's like, I'm part of the group here. Mm-hmm. It's like I might be like the least experienced, like baby deer legs out here on the group, but like it's not that scary to try something new when not every eye is on you because everyone's kind of doing their own thing and you're together working through it, opposed to, for me at least, if it was one-on-one training and I had no idea what I was doing and I was kind of walking off the streets, I'd probably be more anxious being the sole focus of somebody if I was super self-conscious about, I've never done this before, I don't know what's going on, versus that group setting. That's all I was really highlighting on that part.
Well, it just kind of brings me to the next point, like what's available. You know, it sounds like there's classes available, and it sounds like there's personal training, like one-on-one available. So it sounds like there's one on a group and one-on-one, you know, whether you have the opportunity to be one. I mean, like as far as purchase options, membership options, and things like that, you know, it's a relatively large space with lots of different types of equipment, mm-hmm. You know, like I guess what all is available as far as plans go.
So like an overall plans, if you want to come in here, be your own kind of lifter, just use the space for yourself, that's always going to be an availability to you once you join the gym, 24-hour access. If you got a weird sleep schedule, you want to come in at 3 a.m. and do sled drags and back squats, have at it. If you want to come in obviously during the day too, that's totally fine. We offer those group functional fitness classes, like Corey said, it's kind of our backbone staple for the gym. We offer those 6 days a week, Saturday mornings, and then during the week, say morning, both super early, 5, 6 a.m., later on, kind of mid-morning at 9 o'clock as well, and then into noontime and in the evening for that too. And then for personal training, most, if not all of our coaches, I'm not sure if it's 100% everybody, is available for personal training hours as well. So if you have a specific goal or specific personality that you really gel well with, and you would rather get that one-on-one attention, or you have specific goals you want to kind of tailor towards and work towards, we have a variety of people with different personalities, expertise, say whatever you kind of want. We got a wide variety of choices here. And if personal training is your MO, I'm sure we got somebody here that can kind of fit that need that you have from a variety of angles for sure.
Yeah, and Aaron, the other cool things I think is we've been seeing build a lot is we have an Olympic lifting class we do in the mornings. Kenny teaches it at 5 in the morning. Now we do have an evening option for that on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 5:30 with Ian. And I've been seeing a lot of traction with that. Our powerlifting as well. We have a number of guys, including Jake, that do the powerlifting track, but are in here specifically for powerlifting purposes. Having athletes, we have young athletes, anywhere from middle school, maybe even a little earlier, up through high school that are pursuing specific sports. And they work with you on a regular basis, and a few of our other athletes, Jake has done that. I've worked with a few of them, I believe Kenny as well. Another cool thing would be our senior class. So that's another one that's fairly new. We do 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's a little more tailored again to that older population, but I've been seeing some traction, been awesome with. So, you have anything to add with those?
No, I mean, yeah, I think it's a good overview for sure. I think the senior class really highlights kind of what I think one of the foundations of Kanza strength is, though, where it's being able to function in the world we live in and having kind of the ability to use your body as intended, quote unquote. you get to older ages, I feel like most of our senior class is not coming in here really concerned with getting that six-pack body, and looking great at the beach over 6 months from now. But the ability to kind of walk up a flight of stairs, see their grandkids, and play with them without pain, discomfort, or fear whatsoever, I think is a massive kind of like highlight of what the true foundation of most of Kansas goals are, which is optimizing what humans can actually experience in the world.
I would say majority of those senior athletes are probably here for the continuation of a sustainable life.
Yeah.
And they want to see that year after year. It's a primary piece for us to watch them sustain and be as independent as possible through every single remaining year and not feel like they are going to be reliant on somebody else. Like you're talking about, hey, going from 1 foot, 2 foot on the same step to now just 1 foot every single step up. Or, hey, I didn't used to be able to get in this side of the vehicle because it always kind of hurt that hip. No, now my hips are significantly stronger and I can go single leg on either leg. It doesn't matter, So slowly starting to build those opportunities for them to get stronger and stronger. So now if somebody were listening and they're very interested in, hey, maybe I want to check out one of those like functional fitness strength classes, how would they go about that? You had mentioned right now there is a month free until the end of January, and then that month free goes back to the normal week free. What's after that? What's their options after that when they go to join? The billing side, what's the plan side that they get set up with?
Yeah, great question, Aaron. I think it's pretty straightforward. So once you've completed your free membership here, you determine at that time what it is that you're wanting. So let's start with the classes. If the classes is something that you really are diving into, we have the class packs, which are essentially like punch cards. You get a 10 class pack. They don't really expire. I believe it's like a 2-year time frame that you get to use these. Anytime you check into a class, you use one of those punches. So whether it's really good for the guy that or gal that wants to come in occasionally, a couple times a week, or specifically wants to hit those classes. We also have a 20 class pack. So it just gives you a little more option, a little more bang for your buck with those. On top of that, we do have an unlimited membership. The unlimited is going to give you access to everything in the gym, any of the classes that you want to take, complete 24-hour access to the gym itself to do your own work in any of these rooms. The unfortunate thing with the class packs is they don't offer that open gym time. So you are specifically towards one of the classes. We do then have the option for someone that wants maybe not to use the class but wants to use the gym space itself, an open gym. So it gives you 24-hour access to the gym itself. The biggest one I see is for anybody is to look at it and say, what is my ideal time frame that I want to be in the gym, and what's those goals going to fit? So if you're unlimited, obviously you're going to have the most access to that, and we know the most reps that you get towards something is going to be a beneficial thing for you as an athlete and as a person to be able to get those through. So I believe I'm hitting them. Jake, am I missing any thing with the plans there?
So the big thing is with that 24-hour gym access too. Say your schedule's a bit off, you also get access to our Beyond the Whiteboard tracks. So Beyond the Whiteboard is the service that we use to post all of our workouts for all of our tracks online. So that we have our functional fitness class, powerlifting, buffalo bod, Olympic weightlifting, and compete tracks. All are put on there by our coaches. So even if you are going to say miss a class section, you know what the workout was for that day, and if your schedule is totally off, you have the ability to come in and get it done either way. If you're following any of the other tracks or you ever have your own thing, maybe you just want to come in, get a nice long row session in, mobility session, personal lift that you want to do, back squat, deadlift, clean, whatever it is. Having that access to come in and freedom to do that, I think, is really a powerful tool in general, because 24-hour access, there isn't really an excuse. It doesn't fit in my schedule. You can fit it in whenever you want to get that goal done. And the access to be on the whiteboard just really gives you a clear guide, even if you don't really know what you want to do for it, and how to progress towards that goal. You have that available to you kind of at the bare bones at all times, and with the coaches when the time is right for for sure.
So you guys said beyond the whiteboard, and you said it's an app?
A website with a mobile app as well. This would be.
Okay. And then you keep saying tracks and like workout tracks and programming and things like that. What exactly do you mean by a workout track?
Yeah, so we have a variety of, so we call them tracks. It's basically programming towards a specific goal. A big thing, there's distinction I make is there's working out and there's training. Working out is what you do when you're at a hotel gym and you're traveling, and they have dumbbells up to 30 pounds and a treadmill. I'm going to get a workout in. I'm going to do what I can do. Training is working towards a specific goal, and typically requires planning, forethought, and somebody who has some experience of how to reach that end goal. For our tracks, what we do is we have that broken up for a variety of goals. There's our base functional fitness track, which is what the majority of our classes will follow, and that is a basic track for health, wellness, that can progress up to fitness, covers a lot of bases in terms of cardiovascular health, strength training, flexibility. It's kind of a general kind of bread and butter, very well-rounded program that most people here follow. We have our Olympic track, which, like I said, Kenny and Ian coach and program for. If you want to get specifically good at Olympic weightlifting, so the clean and jerk and the snatch, really explosive power and strength, that track is going to be tailored to that specifically. The power track, which I program, is designed specifically to try and improve what a power lifter would do or a base strength athlete would do. So power lifters would work squat, bench, and deadlift. And the big thing that separates powerlifting from Olympic lifting is that powerlifting typically it's much slower, grindier, and more of a strain as you go through. Olympic lifting has to be really snappy at the highest level. For powerlifting, the big thing is both learning how to be strong and learning how to be strong under a lot of load and keep that body moving in a very concrete manner. And last, we have that Buffalo Bod as well, kind of accessory bodybuilding stuff, kind of you can add on to almost any program you're doing. And of course, the Compete track, which you program, and it's designed towards people looking more in the competitive or high-level fitness side. I always look at the Compete track as the kind of buffed up ideas taken to the 10th degree of the functional fitness track. A lot of the same concepts will be there, but if you're competing in CrossFit or fitness-based events, there's a pretty high bar that's been set over the course of the past 5-10 years for what's expected at those comps. Obviously, those comps can still scale, but that track overall is much higher volume and working towards that more aggressive end goal of competing in this sport of fitness.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think Jake touched on with that, Aaron, is that idea of that this is a guide to help you get to that destination, right? So you can get in your car and leisurely drive around and still enjoy it, but it's not getting you necessarily to where you want to be. So if you have specific goals, that's the benefit with all of these tracks is that you're going to have a guidebook to help follow along and make sure that you're doing what we think is the most optimal or efficient way to get to that result without, injury, overuse, overwork, any of those things that can happen from training.
So essentially, that track is just a blueprint for somebody to show up and do and find improvements in what the specific goal each one of those programs has. So why? If I've been going to a gym that has primarily machines and things like that, and I go in there and I know what I'm doing. Like, I've got a decent bicep. I go to my family reunion or I go to a tailgate. Everybody's always talking about, oh, hey, you've been hitting the gym. Why would I come in here? Why would I come in here? Like, what do you guys have to offer that I don't already know?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I actually started here as an athlete myself. I was in a very similar situation. I worked out for 14 years of my life. I learned all that I knew from high school and the internet. So any little bit that I could get in the gym, that's how I did. And I'd say the hobby lifter. I was a guy, I went to the K-State rec. I enjoyed it. I would do the same 3 workouts that I would rotate every other day or so. Back buys, chest tries, push, pull, or legs, and that was the rotation I went through. The thing I found, Aaron, I got to a place I wasn't at the fitness level that I used to be in when I was in high school and that I really saw for myself. And that goal for me of being 80 years old and being able to to be fit at that age of my life, I wasn't seeing that it was going to produce from what I was doing. So I really joined the gym off of a friend of mine that came in here. And I was looking for results. I was fed up with where I was at with my fitness. I didn't know where else to go. And so that's why I joined. What I found when I got here, the two biggest things I found was the coaching, that I didn't have to go through all the pitfalls of learning all the little mistakes to get certain results when it came to my fitness. Those things were already kind of paved for me. You and Kenny, Jack, and the other coaches had already been through and experienced a lot of those things. So I feel like I got to really, in 3 years, I got to take a fast track to something that I couldn't accomplish in 14 years, on my own merit. So that is why, one of the reasons why I switched over to the coaching side and was so interested in this endeavor in the first place, was because I saw when I came in and I did what was told and I just followed along and got coaching and was open-minded, the results exponentially came, and that was, to me, I think, is one of the most valuable things that you can't, not that you can't find someone else at another gym that can do that, but from my experience, it's very hard to find people that are willing to give out their experience, their knowledge in a way that help you get better that way. So that was the major one. The second biggest component for me was the community aspect. Genesis and the K-State Rec, or the places that I had gone before, I felt very much like people were actively trying to avoid you. Because I was actively trying to avoid people, when I'm there. I don't want to talk to you. I want to lift. I don't want to look at you. Here it was way different. The minute I came in, people want to talk. Not only do you get through your workout with people, like that camaraderie aspect, you then sit and we spend time talking afterwards. So that community for me really helped build a lot of accountability. They knew when I wasn't there and when I was, and that for me personally was really helpful to keep me committed to my goals on those days where I didn't want to get out of bed. And then on top of that, having that coaching and that guidance, I knew I didn't have to come up with the game plan. All I had to do was get myself there. So.
Yeah, no, I think I'd echo a lot of those ideas. I think especially if you're training on your own, and you think you have everything sorted, and you might. Like you said, if your goal is to have people comment how nice your biceps are at tailgates, yeah, that can easily be achieved without our help. But I think when you have a goal in mind, and whatever that goal ends up being, we'll often just by our own hubris kind of think, oh no, I can figure out the path, or I can carve my own way, I can do it. In reality, nobody gets to their end goal really on their own. We can only see so far by standing on the shoulders of giants, right? Not saying that we're these fantastic world-class, the best of the best coaches, but like being able to go with, okay, you do know how Olympic weightlifting works. What do you see? Like, what can I do better? And that's the biggest thing. Like, I think that's a line that us as coaches often use with each other. It's like, if any of you see me lifting or I see any of you lifting, it's not uncommon for us to literally just ask the question, what do you see after that's done? Because it's like, we know that if you have the eye and I'm in the body doing the squats, like I might not have seen the small shift in my foot coming in line and like seeing, like, oh, I wasn't taping this set. I don't know that. Having somebody who has trained eyes, who's there and their job is to care about how you move, care about helping you move towards your goals, that totally changes the game in terms of like actually taking yourself to that next level. Like Corey said, like you accomplished more a few years here than you had on your own in the past decade. And it's like, yeah, because all of a sudden I had people who knew the same end goal I wanted to get to and were able to tell me, nope, pick that bar back up, you can do this. Or, hey, our technique's breaking down here, let's work on that. Because that might not be a problem today, but if we keep that as a problem 6 months down the line, your shoulder's going to be killing you because you've been doing push presses wrong. It's like your knee's going to be killing you because every time you squat, they cave in, and yeah, you'll cave in and you wade your way back up. So that's not going to feel great in the future. So let's work on that. Let's break that down. And having coaches that truly care. Like I've worked at a handful of gyms in my time, and there's always good coaches every gym you go to. I'm not saying that I've never seen a gym where everybody was bad, but I've seen plenty of group fitness instructors where it is, I'm going to give you this cookie cutter routine. My job is to be a glorified DJ for you and get you pumped and excited, but I don't really know how to like fix anything you're doing. I'm just a cheerleader there for you. And here I really think our coaches don't take that like at all as a potential outcome for them. Most of us are extremely proud of our ability to actually help athletes improve themselves and take our role as the observer and as the guide pretty seriously. I think that really sets the tone. If your goal is to kind of, what can I gain from coming here? You can gain people who really give a shit about what you're doing that will tell you whether it's great or whether it's not so great. It needs to be better. We'll be honest, but in a supportive way every time for you.
Pretty solid. The experience that you guys have had, I mean, Corey, you kind of hit on being an athlete, different gyms, and then, you know, the coaches, and you hit on some of the coaching pieces. But from an athlete's perspective, you know, what has your experience been, you know, being an athlete in that gym versus being an athlete in this gym? Just a little light on that.
Yes. I mean, like I compete in powerlifting, and I've trained at other CrossFit gyms when I was an undergrad, trained mostly at the Rec when I was at CU for grad school. And it's just like, it's almost like there's a peacocking aspect of people there. Not that I like, there's very few, most gyms, I'm a very strong person in that gym when I walk in, and I know that. I don't care if I'm the strongest, the 10th strongest, whatever. I'm there to train to get better. There's more free form positions. It was almost like this, like, peacocking contest to kind of try and train. So if I'm training heavy, there's somebody who's about as strong as I am. They're not coming over and supporting and talking with me between sets and afterwards like we do here. It's more of like, no, I want to beat that guy. I want to train him. It's like, feel free, man. I'm just doing my heavy fives. It's heavier than it was a month ago when I was doing my fives for the same workout. So I'm happy. Like, if you do more, that's cool. So coming here as an athlete, it's like, I don't think I've ever felt anything but support from other people that I'm training with. Like, we'll stop, have that chat, talk about how things are going. And it's the most like just genuine, hope it's going well. Like you're working. I see it. Hope it's going great for you. For me personally, as somebody who comes in here and mostly just kind of open gym time, I just look at this place as the biggest playground that I've had for a while, right? I look at the equipment we have, the availability for stuff, and like my little nerd mind just gets rolling of like potential things I could do or have other people do as a coach with the equipment we have and with the end goals we have in mind. And other gyms I've been to, it's like there isn't that freedom to just like, here's the open turf section, grab whatever you want, have some fun. Here's the bars, here's whatever. Like, if I wanted to do odd strongman style movements here, do some Zercher squats, I don't think anybody would come over and tell me that I'm doing something that's going to injure me. Like, they'd be like, no, okay, have some fun. That looks like a nasty workout right there. Like, the most like salute, support, and get on with your day. And that camaraderie for me as an athlete, it's massive. Because there's some days I come in here and I don't want to train hard, and I'll see somebody else training hard, talking to me in a supportive way, and it's like, fine, stop feeling sorry for myself. Let me drink some coffee and do my deadlifts and go home and pet the dog afterwards. That'll be my reward. So
you hit on a thing, you know, like the facility doesn't look like other gyms. You know, it doesn't look like other spaces that, you know, people might have been to. So when they come in, they're like, I don't know how and what do I do with that, and all of those sandbags and all of those big circular stones. Like, I don't know how to utilize all of these things, or I really don't know how to do that, you know? So I find it interesting that there are time frames when people really want to get better in specifics, like, and then their facility stops serving what they need. Their facility or the place that they're at stops providing them the opportunities to get strong or to get specific results with what their goals look like. And I'm extremely biased on this, but I feel like we try to listen to what people say, and they say, well, we want this, and these are our goals, and this is how we want to get there. And we try to make the environment look and feel and influence exactly what you were just talking about. Your ability to come in and, all right, it's time to get to work. It's time to do this thing. It's time to get after it. So having those opportunities. So if you guys have anything else to kind of just the gym, when you think about the gym or you think about the community or anything, if you've got any other pieces that you want to kind of throw in on that, we can.
I mean, I think, so for me, it's like, so when I first came back to Manhattan and joined the gym was right when we were expanding into this bigger space over here. And say, like I said, you and I go back, there's no question about it. It's like, yeah, hey, Jake, we need some help moving some turf. Are you available? It's like, oh, yeah, no, I got you. And I show up and there's a dozen other people here from the gym that care about this community and this space enough that they're like, no, I'm here to help build this up too. Over Christmas this year, some members make just, you know what, I'm gonna do a woodworking project for the gym and get better shelves for everything. And it's like that pride they take in the environment and in the people that are here. Like that's super, that's genuine. Like that's just good people that care about this place, care about the people in it, and want to try and help build it up. And that's not something you see a lot. Like I've like I said, worked at a handful of gyms, and I've never seen clients without being asked just provide a gift to the gym that was that, like, to that level. Like building jerk blocks, that is not an easy task. Those people pay a very pretty penny to get those. And having someone's like, no, I got woodworking tools. I know what I'm doing. I got you. That's special, and that really highlights to me what the kind of epitome of the culture here is at Kanza. It's a community that builds each other and the space that they're in up consistently. So,
yeah, I mean, we've had parties here. We've had Christmas parties. We've had New Year's Eve here. We had a funeral here. We've had, I think, graduation. People moving on in their
say Riley's graduation.
Yeah, military, right? Lieutenant. So it's been cool to see this be adapted, like you said, to whatever the community is, and that's what I think this really separates our members and the coaches. Is we're all looking to how can we make this more of us. This gym is authentically the people that are in it, and everything that's in it is what is represented from the members and from the coaches. And so everything from the tracks, these are not just cookie cutter tracks. These are specific to who are doing the tracks and who are following them, and they change based on what we see from those athletes and what they look like. You said something about athlete, and that's what everybody in here is, an athlete. I went to the gyms before that I don't know that I ever really felt like an athlete before, and that's a term that maybe was a little weird for me to take in when I came to a gym like this, because I didn't feel like it. For me, it took, not saying that it doesn't take athleticism, but it didn't take as much of what my definition of athleticism is to sit on a machine and move the lever. Here we're doing some things where your whole body's involved. There's a lot of dynamic pieces that can be involved with it and important, and so I do feel a lot more athletic, right? And I think our members see that as well, and that's what we call them as athletes for a reason, because they're doing things that are dynamic and athletic, right? Yeah.
I'm glad you hit on that piece, because when I first kind of came into this fitness group, I started at would have been a CrossFit gym, and had my experience of good coaches and bad coaches, and I understood from the people that I had worked with in the physical therapy and adaptive kinesiology areas prior to coming to the gym, the owner of the gym called everybody athletes, and I didn't understand. I was like, what are you calling these people athletes for? I still had this mentality of like, let's putting the pads on, or I'm like putting my uniform on and I'm going to go step on the track or basketball court or soccer field or whatever the situation is. Was it pitch? Soccer pitch? Yeah, rugby pitch, whatever. So then he started talking about it, and then I went and took my level 1, my CrossFit level 1, and they referred to everybody as athletes. And then I understood that the sport piece was there. And I didn't quite like it. I wasn't okay with it. I wasn't, because not everybody self-identified with that. Yeah. And then the longer I got into it, and the more I saw people getting a little bit more athletic, I was like, okay, maybe that makes sense. And then I started finding my grievances against CrossFit. And I was like, some of these people have never done a sport or done a strength and conditioning program that helps build athleticism, that has a specific point, that walks them to a goal. They're doing all of these randomized pieces sometimes by somebody who doesn't understand programming. And I was like, that's what my grievance is. They're called athletes, but not being treated like athletes. Yep. And they're not getting to see how to build to a specific goal. They're not getting to see how to understand how to taper, how to build to these points, and then be set up for a successful strength and conditioning end of program test. And once I started to realize that, that's when things like Kenny came into my life and Kanza came into my life, and tons of great people that love to do awesome woodworking projects and have parties and do all sorts of stuff here. So communities come together and lots of really cool opportunities. So
Sure.
Any other specific things you guys want to hit on with the gym?
Yeah, I can look up. Yeah, for sure. I was going to hit on the idea. For me, I think it's how we separate, like I said, with the athlete point. Group is grouping people like that, like always. Like there's clear-cut lines of Aaron is more athletic than some of our other members we have here that are like per se. I think of the word athlete. When you call someone an athlete, it's you have the ability to do things that require athleticism. That's all that it means to be an athlete. And that's what I think all of our tracks give people the ability to. Like I said, even if some people's version of athleticism is being able to get into their car on either side without their hip hurting, that's athleticism when you're 85, 90 years old. That's just how it is. And I think it's you can use it as in an empowering way. It's like, no, I am an athlete. I am somebody who spends a measured part of my time on purpose moving towards the goal of being able to do something like this better. And I think that's, when used in the right context, is a really empowering and really cool label that you can put in to a group of people like that. When you have a coach who actually, like you said, moves them in that goal in a measured way, it changes the entire game. If you showed up to football practice every single day, and it was like, offense, have some fun over there, defense, do some stuff, and every day was random. There was no clear-cut line. When it came to game day, something tells me we wouldn't have Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs with their crazy, ridiculous trick plays they do. It's underhand Travis Kelce that's not going to happen if it's random and not guided on the way. So I think that combination of empowering the people who are engaging in the activity and having a coach who actually tries to guide it is massive. Like you highlighted, to highlight on the teens class as well. That's, in my opinion, one of the best and most empowering classes you can have. The way I look at what I received as physical education through, I did weight training in high school, I did PE and stuff. Some things I got really good at, and some things I was coached really well on, and other things I wasn't. But the end goal was clearly the same every time. The goal here is to make athletes better for football at this school, period. It wasn't, the goal is to teach you all how to be good athletes for the rest of your life, per se. With our teens class, being able to develop a basic fundamental appreciation for how to move their body in space, how to get strong progressively and safely over time, and how to kind of just gain that confidence in themselves. This is a common thing we'll see with adults and with teens. Getting people to put weight on the bar can be a struggle if they don't think that they can do it, if they don't understand that level of strain that's expected of them. When you get to a heavy triple or a heavy single or whatever it is, just not having the confidence there to actually grind is way more prevalent with the teens class we teach. And so with them, it's so much fun because it's an opportunity every single day I'm in here to just get one of those people just a little bit more confident and a little bit more ready to actually go out on the field, pitch, court, whatever it ends up being, and know that they've trained and strained and gone through plenty of hard times. They can succeed here. They are set up well, and they know how to respond to adversity because we've put them in controlled adversity and given them a chance to overcome that on a regular basis. And like I said, to me, working with kids, getting them that level of kind of self-efficacy and training knowledge at an early age, I wish that I had something like that back in the day. And the way I see this group of kids grow is really, really fun because, yeah, at that age, week to week, you can jump leaps and bounds, and that's just an exciting thing right there. Like always pulling the reins back when needed, but just seeing them finally be able to actually squat parallel, finally being able to grind out a set, and progress to more and more skilled base lifts is just an exciting time with that group. And not to say there aren't teens classes all around the country, but I think Aaron and I being the ones that run it, the two of us, I think we take it really seriously and like, no, we're getting you better. Like we want you to grind, and our group wants to work with us, and it's a fun group to work with for sure.
Yeah, Aaron, I'm interested in you about the youth class too, like what your perspective is on it.
For sure, like what he just said, we want them to grind, but we also want them to understand the difference between grinding and polishing, because there are time frames where like you could grind and grind and grind and grind, but then there's nothing left. So you get the opportunity to grind and then understand where you need to start polishing. And that's one of the main things. John Welborn probably said it one of the best. He was talking about, why do we lift weights? You know, we use external loads to drive posture and position and really focus on creating changes. And I've loved that ever since I heard it. You know, he talked about that specifically, and we talk about it with other people, and they do the same weight over and over again, the same weight over and over again. And I don't care if you're trying to find a heavy max. I don't care if you're trying to, if you want to make those changes, if that's what the end goal is make those changes, you have to make slightly different gravitational demands so that you reinforce those positions and the tension where the tension needs to be over and over and over again. If you're doing it with the same weight over and over again, hey, that's great. Like, you're getting good at moving the same load. But if you really want to understand and own the position, you have to change the load. I'm not saying add weight all the time. I'm saying maybe why don't you wave back down and then wave back up with just like a pound under every single time, and then wave back down and go a pound under that every single time. You will own the position significantly more doing that than just building up to this point and saying, well, I don't feel like I can control this, so I'm just going to take 10 pounds off and I'm just going to do 5 sets of 5 here. Okay, there's better ways to own that, especially if posture and position changes are what you really want to do. Yeah. So with the youth, it's super strong. They need to understand at a young age that they can make themselves better. They also need to understand that when they hear people say getting old sucks, like, that's not like, oh, getting old sucks. No, your habits suck. Like, let's call it what it is. Maybe you're not doing what you need to do to stop your joints from hurting, because those kids, those youth kids, that's all they want to do is they want to get older, and they're excited to get older. And if you're sitting here on the other side of the line telling them it's terrible, well, then it's our job to build a better opportunity for them. It's our job to show them, well, we didn't have what you have at this age, so maybe it doesn't have to suck for you. And it's my job to put every ounce of energy, research, and brain power I have into it to make you better than me when you get to be 34 or 35 or 30 years old. Like, I want you to not have to say getting old sucks. So I'm going to do everything I can to make you better. So. I just blacked out.
No, I think just to highlight while you recompose yourself, one thing I really like about the teens class is a lot of them, like I said, they'll hit PRs regularly. And as a power lifter, they do a lot of squat, bench, and deadlift as their foundational movements, their foundational strength movements. I happen to choose a sport where that's all that I have to be good at, right? Like I said, telling them that I wish that I could have learned to lift like you're lifting now back when I was your age, because I spent 8-ish years of my training life not really getting good coaching. Like, I had decent coaching, but it was way more, like you said, self-taught than anything. And it's like, and they'll ask me, and I'm like, oh, Jake, what do you squat? And I'll tell them, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. It's like, yeah, imagine if I started knowing how to squat properly when I was your age, opposed to wasting the next 4 years of my life not squatting it, like getting better, but like not knowing how to get away from injuries because I had bad habits and like no one corrected them on. Like, it's like, yeah, there was a time when that's all I could squat too. It's like, you don't need to like get excited. It's a little bit, And the beauty, like I said, the 1 pound differences, that's my favorite game to play with our teens class. Well, a lot of the time we do like a 5x5 wave of lifting for their main strength component. So it's once that weight gets relatively hard, we'll count that as set 1, and our goal is to get 5 total sets. It's sometimes I'll see them and it's flying. And I ask, how'd that feel? Oh, that was really, really hard. It's like, you just don't know how strong you are yet. And then the ability to take our fractional plates and be like, how about we just add these? Just a little bit. Just add a little bit on the, okay, yeah, I can add a little bit. By the end of the 5 sets, they're 20-something pounds heavier on their squats. And they're looking great, slowing down a little bit, maybe grinding slightly, but it's like, oh, I didn't even think I could do that. It's like, yeah, I know you didn't. But I would have bet everything I got on this paycheck that like that's in there for you.
Yeah.
Like providing that environment for them where it's like, nope, I trust. Like, do you trust me? Yeah, I trust you. Cool. Let's add 2.5s on the outside. There's no doubt in my mind it's going up. And like, yeah, just as a group of kids, having the ability to teach them well and provide that kind of, like I said, increase in self-efficacy for them. Like I think it's a great environment. I think we really are hitting the nail on the head with them right now. So
I agree. The you deserve better mentality is kind of where I keep coming back to it. You know, it's these kids deserve better, you know, and everybody that comes to the regular fitness classes or Olympic weightlifting classes or anybody that jumps on any of the tracks, like those programs are created with the mentality of like, we know what you want through conversations that we've had with you, and we're trying to deliver that to you in as many ways and as many forms as possible, because we've seen worse, we've also seen better, and we want to give you better over and over again. To add?
I guess the only thing I'm thinking of is we have a gentleman here in town that is, believe in his 90s, 80 or 90, that does that half marathon every year, Bill Snyder. And I think about like a lot of what you were talking about with the purpose of it's so we should celebrate people like that, but why does he have to be an anomaly? Why can't we have a community of people that, you know, and it starts at a young age, like we talked about with your youth class, that window of opportunity that you have as a young athlete to pursue your individual sport and be good at it. Maybe your goals are college, maybe it's beyond that, but it's still a small window. The rest of your life is a large window, and it just shouldn't stop based on you graduating or finishing that sport. So that's one of the things I admire about many of the athletes that are in here is they're so many different ages, backgrounds, histories when it comes to their fitness, but we're building a community that's where that isn't an anomaly, that we can have people be strong, be fit, be healthy throughout the duration of their life, not just those early years, and like you say, wasting away the remaining of them, or to a place where your older years are your years where you hurt or are immobile. That quality of life, I think, I know for me is a personal importance, and I want to see that with all of the people that we touch too. They're in here in the gym. So.
Closing?
No. I'm good. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an episode of Herd Mentality.
So, I've been Jake.
And Corey.
And Aaron, and we appreciate your viewership. Hit the like button, and we will see you for the next episode.